Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we'll be taking a look at the Batman Arkham Origins Batman Standard Edition from Queen Studios and InArt. If Saturday morning cartoons fueled your imagination as a kid and powers your action figure collecting now as an adult, then you're in the right place. Thanks for stopping by and welcome to Saturday Morning Toy Collector.
And if you like my content, please consider subscribing.
For more than 2 years now, Articulated Empire has become your trusted online retailer. They carry all the latest lines like Mythic Legion, Savage Crucible, Marvel Legends, NECA, and much, much more. They ship your items quickly and securely. You'll be quite happy how Steve and his team follow through with their care and attention. Articulated Empire also offers free shipping over $75 and no tax except for Illinois residents. So head over to articulatedempire.com today and build your empire. And really, other than the box, kind of sporting some of the key art and the feel of the Arkham Origins game, there's not a lot in the way of photography. It's just some Japanese writing and a little bit of description on the back, and that's it. So let's get this guy cracked open. And inside, you're treated to 2 plastic trays full of goodies. Batman is completely encased in plastic wrap there, which is really good. You do get a little baggie for your accessories, and you get a little set of instructions. The instruction sheet has a little legend there and a little map to tell you both in Japanese and English what is what. And then you get a little explanation of how to put the hands on the weapons, swap the hands out, how to use the line launcher, and how to swap out the heads. All right, so here is a look at the pretty standard base that you're getting here. I only have one other InArt figure, and I do believe that is the first Batman that came out, the Dark Knight, Christian Bale Batman, and I don't remember him coming with a base like this. This is very reminiscent and very close to the size of what you would get with a Mezco 1/12 Collective. These are really nice bases, except for the fact that they just take up way too much room on my shelf. I don't have room for this, so this will be staying in the package, but we will be using it for the review because it looks like a really nice, pretty standard base. And I did want to show off the bag because it does have the little InArt Action logo printed on it, which is, we've seen this style of bag before. Also, in the tray that the base comes in, you'll see that here is your metal rod for the grapple gun. You get 2 tiny little pieces for when it's retracted into the gun, and then 1 longer piece for when it is shot out. All right, here are all of the accessories laid out. Let's first start with the hands. You do get 2 punchies, and one thing I noticed is you do not get any extra wrist pegs, and that's always bothersome. That always makes me anxious because I'm always afraid, man, what if I break these hands? He does come with what also looks like punchies, but they have a tiny little hole, and I'm assuming that that's for throwing the Batarang, which we'll also look at just a second. Yeah, you can get the Batarang in there, so it's like a full grip holding the Batarang. Batarang is really nice. It's got some silver touches to it, a little bit of sculpted detail. You've seen one Batarang, you've kind of seen them all. He does come with, I believe this is called his cryptographic sequencing holding left hand and a cryptographic sequencing holding, there we go, right hand. So these are the 2 hands. They look like trigger fingers, but these are for holding the cryptographic sequencer. And the problem is that the cryptographic sequencer is only visible one way. So this is a device that would slide back in and then fold down. He would keep this on his belt. It has a little bit of green, a little bit of gold, some silver dots, and a little fuzzy screen. There is nothing on the back other than some silver hits of paint. So it is designed to only be read, one direction. So I'm assuming, just like the band, but I'm assuming that it would probably work best in the right hand. But there you have it. You do get 2 hands for doing that, left or right. Let's see here. We have this hand for, I believe, either holding the what do they call this piece? This is the, nope. So this is 2 hands. This is, I gotta find it on the thing. This is the disruptor. So you have a handle back here and a handle up here. So he would hold this with 2 hands. You get hands, only a right hand for that. And I'm guessing this hand for, yes, the front. Yeah, that's why the left and right hands for that gun, for the disruptor here, are different. But it's a really nice gunmetal, silver. I have a little bit of silver hit right there on the handle. Have this nice little wire running up to the front, and looks very nice. Also very reminiscent of the EMP gun that Christian Bale's Batman used in the Dark Knight. We also have this hand here, which is, I think, for holding the spray gel. Yes, this, and you only get a right hand for this, no left. But there is a look at the hand holding the spray gel. We have a little bit of a black right there on the spray gel. I would have really liked it if this was like a bluish color, because if I remember correctly from the games, maybe not in Origins, but in the other games, you could see into that tube, and I think it was like a little light blue colored gel for spraying the bat symbol and then making an explosion. Man, those games were so good. I loved them. They were great. And then we get a right hand here on number 14, holding an explosive. Nope. What are we doing here? Oh, a smoke pellet. Number 13. This hand is holding a smoke pellet, so it is like just a silver ball for threatening Jabba the Hutt if he doesn't pay the right price for Solo. What else do we have here? We've gone over that. Oh yeah, the bat claw. So the grapple gun. Here is a look at it. A little bit of silver and black going on, and then the claw itself, which is not openable, extendable. Like, it does not open. It's got a little bit of silver, and you can see that there are the 2 pieces for the metal pole right there, the 2 holes for the pole to go in. And then, yeah, that's how that works. Let me get those metal poles out. I should have done that already. Sorry. Okay, so let's grab the bat claw, and that just inserts. And of course, if you would like to bend it in any kind of special way, you certainly can. Of course, you'll never get it straight again, but there it is, completely extended. And I'm glad they give you 2 of these because, man, so that goes in a pretty good way. So I'm hoping that once this is, yeah, there you go. You can kind of push it in to where it's not going to fall out, but it is in there pretty well. And yeah, that looks pretty nice. And I don't know whether or not there is storage for any of this on the figure itself, because I haven't really messed around with it. And then lastly, we do have the heads. So here is the first Batman head, very stoic, got a little bit of stubble there. It's very Ben Affleck's Batman. In comparison, the eyes are very, I mean, they're just tiny little slits in there. Hopefully you can see, but man, just really nicely detailed. I love short ears, very clean, looks really nice. And then of course we do have the angry face. So he brought his angry eyes, and then you can see the little gritted teeth. It looks really good. And then let's see, are the cowls sculpted? I don't think the upper part is sculpted any more angry, but you can see where the cheeks are kind of puffed up a little bit. Under the mask, it does appear that they're it has a little bit different. I don't know. You guys tell me. It seems like I can tell the difference in the faces just by the eyes. But yeah, they both look really incredible. All right, here is Batman himself, and I have to tell you guys, like, this, I feel like I've said this once this year with the Chaos Toys Dark Vigilante, but this actually might be my favorite Batman figure release this year. This is pretty incredible. I almost did not believe my eyes when I saw the original pictures of this guy. I thought they might have been AI enhanced or something. But no, this guy looks absolutely incredible. I'm gonna gush over this cape because this cape is really good. Let's just see here. Let's just go over some of the engineering because this is basically a new figure. Even though we have gotten a Batman from InArt before, it looks like every Batman is going to be a new and original sculpt, not really based on any underlying pre-engineered body. So let's just kind of go over everything. So the neck and the head are on separate ball pegs, so you can get a lot of shunting forward and backwards. And he can look up quite a bit, which is really good for a Batman that comes with a grapple gun. He can look down and look very menacing if he needs to. Lots of mobility, bobble, weave, all that kind of stuff. You're getting any position you want to get this head in, you're going to be able to do so. We have some nice little silver hits. I love that all the rivets are kind of like called out, even subtly. Like those are painted silver, even though it's a light wash, versus how brightly silver these are, like the brighter silver. The cape does go under here, and it does appear to be, connected to itself, not separate pieces here, because you can see as I move it, it's moving this right here. So as I pull on it, you can see that that's one single piece of fabric and wire. And, look, and it's holding, its position pretty well. So let's just keep this out of the way for now. This cowl piece probably is removable, but not made to be, but you probably could remove it if you wanted to replace the cape. Trying to figure out what's going on here at the shoulder, how this is engineered. It looks like we have like a big cuff like McFarlane does, and that is sort of hiding, that butterfly joint. And I'm trying to see here. It looks like the straps, which are this separate rubbery piece, are loose. They're not loose. No, they are glued to that cuff. So they're a separate piece from the cuff, but they are glued to the cuff. So it kind of moves and angles and stays underneath this breastplate, the chest plate. So it's not hindered in any way. You can see that going up, it just is so soft and pliable. You can see how soft and rubbery that is, that it just gets up out of the way. So he can hit a Y pose. Forget a T pose. We're going YMCA on this guy. Also, you can probably, you can, it's quite a chore, but you can go 360. I wouldn't recommend it, but you do need to be able to get the arm at least up, but you are tugging on that rubber strap and you're bunching it up. So, you can get him in a grappling straight up from where he's standing street level. You can. I just wouldn't recommend leaving him in this position for a long time, because you're really going to bunch that up and really make it look kind of goofy over time. So I'd be careful there. We do have a bicep swivel. We have double jointed elbows. But because of the bulk of his bicep and the gauntlet, you're only getting about that much bend. You can get the arm all the way down by the side, which is really nice. That's always an issue. Let's see here. The arm does have some up and down movement as well. So lots of mobility in the shoulder and the arms. Down here at the wrist, you have a wrist peg and a ball and a peg. So you're getting full wrist mobility. You don't have to worry about horizontal or vertical hinges. I will say the hands are not the easiest to get off. It's a little bit of a chore the first couple of times until it gets loosened up a little bit, but some extra ball pegs for wrist pegs would have been a nice inclusion. But 3D printers out there, they just print their own these days. We do have a ball joint at the diaphragm and a ball joint at the waist. So that is a beautiful crunch for a figure that is this bulky. And he can lean back all the way, and you don't even have to mind the gap because there is no gap. That's really nice. The belt appears to be a separate, completely separate piece from the waist piece. The belt, man, this is just, it's right up my alley when it comes to Batman, because he has a lot of gear. So a lot of canisters and pouches. This Batman is very tactical, and I like a tactical Batman. Look at the detail and sculpting on the back, which you'll probably never see. But there is no weapon storage. There is nowhere on here on the back to attach anything, and no hidden magnets, which would have also been really nice. If you don't want to have a way for them to physically attach, like a post in a hole, then magnets would have been good. But there's no magnets. There's no way to hold the weapons. So let's get the cape back out of the way. And then we do have some of the craziest drop down I have ever seen. Look at that. You can get an entire finger underneath there, for some of those wild, like 3-point landing, like stances. That drop down is ridiculous, which is so nice. I mean, just look at how far that comes down. That's great. So, this is really cool because the thigh cut is hidden underneath this piece of armor. So you can rotate all the way out, more than a natural body could, and then all the way in. The painting on this figure is just beautiful. All the little subtle airbrushing around the edges to where nothing stops abruptly. Oh man, it's just really good. Leg can go that far forward without being dropped down, and then dropping it down, we can go a little bit higher. You can go out to the side that far for side kicking. It can go all the way back. Nice rotation there hidden. I like that a lot. Double jointed knees, so you can go all the way back, which is really dope. And because of how heavily armored and plated this guy is, you're getting a lot of knee coverage, so you don't have those awkward looking knees. This lower part seems to be an extra, like a separate piece down here, the lower shin armor, and then you've got some nice hinge, like a 2-part. So you have this little piece separate from the foot, and then the foot also has toe articulation, which I don't necessarily need, but you've got a swivel, hinge, rocker, like you're getting full foot mobility there. So this guy is going to really get into kind of like any pose. This big bulky guy is ready to pose with the best of them, and I'm here for it. And this cape, man, the cape has like this very subtle, hopefully my camera's picking it up, like ribbing pattern. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Let's see if you guys can see this. It's got like this very subtle like texture. There it is. You can see it right there to it on the outside, but that texture is not present on the inside. You can see very beautiful stitching along the wire, the full scallops, and then let me zoom back out so we can show this cape off properly. Let's get him standing straight up and down. There we go. And then really extend out this cape. So that's a pretty substantial cape. Only wires around the top edges, not around the scallops, but still I feel like, you know, this is the wire and the fabric are, you know, symbiotic. They're working together. The fabric is light and airy, and then the wire is very thin, and it is able to support any kind of posing. We'll see how that holds up in the long run, and then hopefully it doesn't bend on us. But let's lower this camera a bit so we can get down to eye level. Let's get a size height on this guy, see how tall he is exactly, and then bring in some other Batman from various lines to see how he is going to line up with other Batman in your Batman collection, which every collector should have, right? I mean, he's the greatest superhero of all time. Okay, so this Batman is coming in at about 7¼ inches is about what it's looking like to the top of his head. I'm not counting the ears. I'm just counting the Yeah, to the top of his head looks like about 7.25. Now, I'm just gonna grab, all of my Batman are like right here next to me on the shelf, so I'm just gonna grab a few. Here is the InArt Batman, the Dark Knight, and you can see here, let me get him off of that base, that this is the first InArt Batman that I purchased that came out last year. You can see considerably shorter for that guy. And so, yeah, I don't know if this is like the new scale going forward. Here is the LPZZ Deathstroke from the Arkham Knight games. And again, he's going to be a little shorter than Batman. So, I mean, you would be able to fudge it in some really creative posing in photography. But, yeah, this guy he's a beefy boy. He's gonna stand up pretty tall. Here he is next to the LPZZ Arkham Knight Batman, same video game series, again, kind of dwarfing that guy. Here's where I fall with scale. I will never be a scale diva. Like, I'm not a scale queen. I do not care if my figures scale well with one another, because they're usually all standing together on a shelf in like a little Batman tribute. So like I don't really need them to be in perfect alignment with each other. I don't pit them against one another like that. Here is the Chaos Toys Dark Vigilante, which up until this guy was my favorite Batman release this year. You can see that he's even bigger than him, and that's a pretty big figure. And then from Chaos Toys, here is the, I'm gonna knock stuff over. It's gonna happen if you guys hear stuff falling. That's what's going on. But here is Jagger, aka the mutant leader. Not a bad size. This guy was larger than Batman. He kind of stood over him a little bit, so that kind of works out. Yeah, I don't really know. He's really kind of coming in much larger than a lot of other, here he is next to like a Mezco 1/12. And lastly, a couple of Batman that I do feel will probably fit in pretty well, because they are both in that 7-inch category, and that is the McFarlane Studios, any McFarlane Toys Batman, and then the Gong Studios Batman from Hush. So 7-inch scale, they fit in pretty well. So there you have it. There's a look at the size and how this guy compares, and you can tell whether or not, this is something that you want to add to your collection. All right, there you have it. There is a look at the InArt and Queens Studio Arkham Origins Batman. Now, there is an alternative version of this figure out there. There is a battle damage version where his suit's kind of distressed and kind of busted up as he's been in battle. And I believe he does come with 2 other accessories, which are like some shock effects that go around his wrists and fists. I'm not sure if there's other hands or anything, but I think that's the major difference. I do not have that one coming. I'm not the biggest fan of battle damage figures, unless it really makes sense. I only have a couple in my collection. This was the version of this Batman that I wanted, and I'm glad I finally got my hands on it. It's one I've been waiting months for, and I got it just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm finally getting around to doing the review. So, you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think of this Batman. Are you passing on it? Were you waiting to, see some reviews of it before you picked it up? Are you on the fence? Would you rather have this version or the battle damage version that comes with the shock fist effects? How does this figure rank in your current collection or your current list of favorite Batman? I kind of think this guy is more than likely going to show up on my top figures of the year list at the end of the year. I can't see another Batman coming out this year that would top this one. So I think we're going to be seeing more of this guy in the future. I do have a couple of other like InArt figures on the way, pre-ordered. They are just doing some amazing things. Them along with LPZZ or UPF, whatever you want to call them. They're both, like, right now, those are the two companies that are just absolutely crushing it when it comes to Batman figures. But you guys let me know in the comments down below what you think of this guy. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. I super appreciate it. Please continue to check us out over at Instagram at Saturday Morning Toy Collector. I am your Saturday Morning Toy Collector, Mark, and I'll see you in the toy aisles.